Shalom! Today we're going to go on a little bit of an adventure and we're going to go see Roosevelt Island. But to start this adventure, we're going to go on the Roosevelt Island tramway, which is one of only 2 aerial commuter tramways in the country. This one goes 250 feet above the river. We're going to get on that and you'll be able to see these awesome New York views. It's not a drone, it's a tram.
You don't let your feelings haunt you. You don't ever get nervous, do you? With all the right cards in your hands. I'm breathing just to feel my body. You're screaming just to say you're sorry when it don't turn out the way you planned. It was more than a feeling. From the floor to the ceiling. Wish I knew how to tell you. I need someone to believe in.
Just got off the tram. It's really fast. It's only like maybe 5 minutes.
Yeah.
But it's really cute and you get to go over the water. One thing of note though is you cannot transfer from like the MTA to the tram. You have to pay separately.
Yeah.
But if you have a time card, it works on there.
Yeah, so unlimited cards are obviously fine.
So first stop is going to be right off the tram, this little cute little visitor center. Went into the visitor center. You can get a map for a $1 donation, but the guy was so nice and he showed us some stuff and gave us a free book.
That was so nice of him.
Because he said that the Four Freedoms Park here is like the best thing on the island, but it's closed on Tuesdays and it's Tuesday.
Yeah.
So he gave us a book and said, here, well, I'll just give you this to tempt you to come back.
Yeah.
Then I heard it in the morning, and then I saw it in the evening. And then you said without a warning that you need someone to believe in.
Our first activity is walking along the promenade, which is lined with these beautiful pink trees. We're not really arborists, so we don't really know what they are, but they're beautiful.
But it hurts even more when I go. You gotta let me know. Yeah, it hurts whenever I stay. Is there another way? But it hurts even more when I go.
So we kept walking the promenade and we ended up in this South Pointe Park. And one of the first things you'll kind of see as you walk in is this building behind me. And to understand what this building is first, I have to kind of talk about Roosevelt Island in general. Roosevelt Island it has a long history, but in its most recent history, when the city of New York bought it, they had the intention of making it a city of asylums. And there was over a dozen different institutions on this island for sick people, insane people, things like that. But the building behind me is the Strecker Memorial Laboratory, and whenever it was constructed, it was the nation's first laboratory devoted to pathological and bacteriological research.
I don't even really know what that means.
Me either, but here it is. But you don't have to worry about that anymore. It's now just a substation for Roosevelt Island. And if you keep walking to the south, you'll end up running into the smallpox hospital, which is obviously dilapidated.
It's pretty shaky.
Yeah.
But it was opened in 1856, and it was the first ever hospital opened that was devoted to smallpox treatment. Then in, I don't know, 1875 or something, they renamed it to Riverside Hospital. But then in 1886, they converted it to a nursing school. And like that's when they added on the extra inns for classrooms.
Gotcha. So from smallpox hospital to nursing hospital.
Which to me feels kind of, I wouldn't want to go to school that was once devoted specifically to smallpox.
Yeah. We were just walking away from the smallpox hospital, and then a lady rolled up on a bike and started calling some geese over.
They started quacking at her, and she goes, "I know, I see you, I see you."
But then she started
stopped.
calling them by name.
Yeah.
And they ran up to her and she started feeding them. I've never seen that happen before
I'm
with the
amazed.
geese.
Also, birds terrify me so.
And then about halfway up the island, you will run into this very regular Midwestern-looking house,
Definitely looks
farmhouse.
like the house I grew up in.
It is the oldest house on Roosevelt Island and the 6th oldest house in New York City. It was owned by the Blackwell family, which the island was actually called like the Blackwell Island or something like that whenever they owned it. They were like the 3rd owners of the island until the city bought it from them for $30,000, by the way. But this was their house on the island. First house, 6th house in New York City.
It's not love, it's a trap we've fallen, just like the war we fought in. Not love, it's a trap we've fallen.
Nothing fun to look at, but a really interesting fact about Roosevelt Island is the facility right behind me is the AVAC facility, and Roosevelt Island is equipped with a vacuum tube system like you would find at a bank where they stick the tubes in, it comes out to the drive-through. Mm-hmm. They do that, but with garbage. And so everybody just puts their garbage down the chute, and it gets sucked at 70 miles an hour to this facility. And it's gathered and cleaned.
But think about how much easier that is.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, obviously it's a lot more thinking up front and infrastructure and stuff, but I never have to take my trash out. I just like put it in the little chute.
Yeah.
It hurts whenever I stay. Is there another way? But it hurts even more when I go. I'm screaming out. I'm screaming out.
So another cool thing you can see on the island is a remnant of the insane asylum. And it's called the Octagon, and it's only the Octagon part was part of the original building, the rest of it was torn down, but the Octagon was they built it as an octagon because they believed that the shape of an octagon helped like cure people of mental diseases. And on the very northern tip of this island, you can see this here lighthouse built in 1872 to guide our ships into New York Harbor.
Is that it?
Yeah. But that's the end of our Roosevelt Island adventure. If none of that stuff interests you, I would still say to come to Roosevelt Island because it is so cute.
Yes. I was going to say that I find Roosevelt Island so charming. And like there's so much green space.
Way more grass than anywhere except for like Central Park.
Oh, yeah. And it's quiet.
So,
and the buses are free, so you can just like get around really easy. Mm-hmm. There's a Starbucks here, so there's some coffee. I know a lot of people hate Starbucks. You should visit. It's cute.
Yeah, like if you want a peaceful, like even if you live in New York right now, like if you just want like a peaceful getaway,
for sure.
Hang out on Roosevelt Island. It's
That's
so
a great view of the city.
It's so quaint. Like
I love it.
It feels like a small town. I mean, because basically it is a small town. I saw one thing that said that 20,000 people live here, but the census said that like 13,000 people live here, so I don't know which one it is. But even still, 20,000 people, that is a small town in the middle of a huge city.
Yeah, and it really is its own little town.
Yeah.
That's what it feels like.
Yeah, highly recommend checking it out.
For sure.
But if you don't want to take the tram back into Manhattan, there is a F subway station that you can get onto, and that's what we're gonna do right now. So if you like this video, hit the like button, subscribe. If you're not, we make videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday on this channel. We also do a podcast called Deeply Curious, which you can listen to by going to podcast.codyjensen.com. It also has its own YouTube channel that is linked in the description. It's also a card on the screen right now. Thanks guys for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.